Hey everybody, it's Miss Lyons here. Today we're going to be learning about surface area, and as we're learning about surface area, I'm going to ask that you are writing down notes while we go through these slides. So I'll be talking through a few examples of some various different three-dimensional objects, and while I'm writing on the slides, you should be writing things down too. Remember to pause the video if you need to slow down. And when you're finished with the video, make sure that you go back and try the Your Turn section on your own. Alright, so surface area is the combined area of all surfaces of a three-dimensional object. So let's look, for instance, at a rectangular prism. This is one of the simpler shapes, and so that's why we're going to start with it. It's also really, really common. We see it all the time in everyday life. One really common example would be like a cereal box. And so with a rectangular prism, you have 6 faces, right? A front and a back, you have a top and bottom, and you have the left side and a right side. So notice also that if you can imagine taking your cereal box and unfolding it and laying it out flat, then it would probably look something like what we have here. Okay, we call this a net. And we'll learn to really, really like nets a lot because it helps us to see a three-dimensional object as if it was only 2 dimensions. And it helps us to see it on paper, and it also makes it easier to make sure we don't forget any sides of the shape when we go to add them together. Alright, so let's work through this. We're also going to record our information in the data table here on the left side, and that's going to help us to organize our thoughts and organize our math so that we don't lose anything or forget to add things together. So, in our 3D rectangular prism here, we have a front side, which is 3 by 6, and notice that the back side is also 3 by 6. And that's something that makes our lives a lot easier because once we know what the area of one side is, we can just double it. So 3 by 6 is our dimensions for the front side. We can double that. Sorry, that's 18 square centimeters. That's going to be important. We can double that to get 36 square centimeters. Now the left side and right side, oh, hang on a second. Let's also make note in your nets. So our 3 by 6 would be right here, and also right here. And if you can, try to imagine folding this back together. Alright? So you can see that that's 2 sides that are both 3 by 6, which gave us 36 square centimeters for the front and back. Now the left side is 2 by 6. The right side is also 2 by 6. Oh, and that goes down here in our table. That'll be 12 square centimeters. Double that, and we have 24 square centimeters. In our net, we can see that right here, and also right here. Alright, and last, the top and bottom. Top here is 3 by 2, and the bottom is also 3 by 2. That makes 6 square centimeters. When we double that, that's 12. So when we add everything together, the front and back, the top and bottom, and the left and right, then we will have 72 square centimeters. Okay, next we have probably the easiest, definitely the easiest of our three-dimensional objects here. It is a form of a rectangular prism, but it's special because it's a cube. And what we know about a cube is that every single side on a cube is exactly the same, right? It has the same dimensions. All the sides of a cube are all the same length, and that means that our sides are all going to be equivalent. So this makes our lives really, really easy because I know that this side, which would be the bottom of our shape, is the same as the front and the back and the left side and the right side and also the top. And so I can find the surface area very, very easily by simply finding the area of one side of it and then multiplying that by 6. So in this example with this cube here, we have, our net shows us that we have dimensions of 5 by 5 on one side, which means that the side area is 25 square centimeters. And when we multiply 25 by 6, then we should get 150 square centimeters. And since we don't really need to add anything together, then our total surface area is also going to be 150 square centimeters. Alright, triangular prisms are where things start to get a little bit more challenging, but they're still very doable, and what makes them so doable is their nets. Okay, their nets still make it really easy for us to see all the dimensions. So we're going to use our net to really help us to see everything. So let's start with the front and back. And the front and back of a triangular prism are going to be what we call our base. And notice that the triangles on a triangular prism will always have to be the same. If the two triangles are not the same dimensions, then it's not a prism. So, our triangular prism has triangles that are 3 by 4. But to find the area of one side, we need to do 1/2 of the 3 times 4, because we're dealing with triangles. And remember, triangles require us to divide by 2. So half of 3 times 4, well, 3 times 4 is 12, and half of that is 6. So one side area is going to be 6. When we double that, we get 12. All right. Now let's look at the left side here. The left side is 3 by 4. That's 12. Notice that that isn't replicated anywhere else. The right side is different from the left in this picture, and so we're just going to write that as 12. The right side is 5 by 3. And that's going to give us a side area of 15. And then last but not least is the bottom. That's going to be a 3 by 3, which makes 9. All right, now we can add everything together. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 9 more is going to be 18. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So our area is 48 square centimeters. Sorry, that is surface area. Our surface area is 48 square centimeters. All right, and last but not least is our triangular pyramid, or sorry, our square pyramid that we have here. Square pyramid is fairly straightforward and fairly simple. It does have a lot of triangles in it, but what you'll notice with a square pyramid is that because the sides of the base, right, in a square, the sides of the base have to be the same. This is 6 by 6. Then that means that the triangles will all be the same. So let's start with the base of our square pyramid, which is 6 by 6. That's going to give us a side area of 36 square centimeters. And then we can focus on the rest of our triangles. And there's 4 of those, so we'll just find the area of one of them and multiply that by 4. So this side has a vertical height of 12 centimeters and a base of 6 centimeters. So we need 1/2 times 6 times 12. Well, I know that half of 12 is 6. And 6 times 6 is 36. So this is also going to be 36. Now because I have 4 of those, I'm going to do 36 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So that's 144 square centimeters. And when I add 36 to that, I have 6 plus 4 is 10. 1 plus 3 plus 4 is 8. And then 1 there makes 180 square centimeters for our surface area. Alright, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Please make sure that you wrote down everything that you saw me write down that was important, and even things that you heard me say that were important, even if you didn't see it written down. Now I want you to stop your video and take this time to work on the Your Turn section, and check your answers when you're done.